All right, let's cut the crap. We're diving deep into Demi Moore's life, and let me tell you, this shit is wilder than a weekend bender with Charlie Sheen.
Oh, absolutely. And talk about a roller coaster ride, huh? From those iconic roles in G.I. Jane and Ghost to, well, let's just say some career choices that left us scratching our heads.
You think you know her. But trust me, this lady's story is packed with more twists and turns than a goddamn pretzel factory.
Where do we even begin? I mean, her early life alone is like something straight out of Jerry Springer.
Yeah, seriously fucked up. Abandoned by her bio dad before she was even born,
A stepfather who ends up, well, taking the easy way out.
and a mother who makes Joan Crawford look like a goddamn saint.
Seriously, the woman posed nude for some sleazy magazine, like some kind of twisted parody of Demi's Vanity Fair pregnancy shoot.
I'm talking about mommy issues with a capital M. Oh, and did we mention Demi claims she was raped at 15?
And not just by some random creep, but by her landlord who may have paid her mom for access.
Jesus Christ, that's some heavy shit to unpack. It's no wonder she's had her share of struggles.
You can definitely see how those early traumas shaped her personality and her drive, and probably fueled some of her later issues with addiction and relationships.
It's a miracle she even made it out of that mess, let alone became a Hollywood A-lister.
Talk about beating the odds. She went from modeling gigs in soap operas straight into the Brat Pack.
That's one hell of a leap. But even back then, she was already taking risks and pushing boundaries.
Absolutely. Remember those early flicks like Choices and Parasite?
Back when she was still rocking her real name, Demetria Gynes. And get this, she did voice work for The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Now that's range. It shows she wasn't afraid to experiment and try anything.
Then comes the 90s, the Demi Moore era.
Highest paid actress in Hollywood, raking in a record-breaking $12.5 million for striptease. Though, let's be real, that movie was a bigger flop than A Politician's Promise.
True, but you gotta admire her balls. She was calling the shots, demanding what she was worth, even if it pissed off half of Hollywood.
Remember that whole chartering 2 private jets thing? Pure diva behavior, but hey, if you've got the cash, flaunt it, right?
Damn right. Speaking of flaunting it, let's talk about her love life. It's a goddamn soap opera in itself.
3 high-profile marriages, Freddie Moore, Bruce Willis, and Ashton Kutcher.
Plus, let's not forget that whirlwind engagement to Emilio Estevez.
The woman's got a knack for picking them, even if they don't always work out.
That Kutcher thing crashed and burned harder than a SpaceX rocket launch gone wrong.
It's fascinating, though, isn't it, to see how those relationships played out. The quickie marriage to Freddie, the seemingly rock-solid partnership with Bruce that gave us 3 daughters, and then that whole May-December thing with Kutcher.
It's like a masterclass in love and dysfunction, all rolled into one.
But here's the thing. Even after their split, she and Bruce maintained this incredible dynamic. Blended families, vacations together. It's like they redefined what divorce can look like, especially in Hollywood.
It's actually kind of cool. But beyond the glitz and glam, there's a whole other side to Demi. This chick's an activist, fighting child sex trafficking.
Her work with Thorn, Digital Defenders of Children, is seriously impressive.
It started as the Demi and Ashton Foundation, right?
Yep, they've helped identify thousands of victims and rescue countless kids from some truly horrific situations. They're using technology to fight the darkest corners of the internet.
It's like Batman. But instead of punching criminals, she's taking down pedophile rings. Pretty badass, if you ask me.
And get this, she's got this secret obsession, doll collecting.
Wait, what? The G.I. Jane chick collects dolls. You're shitting me.
Nope, dead serious. We're talking thousands of dolls, enough to fill a museum.
That's hilarious. It's like this tough-as-nails badass woman has this weirdly adorable hobby. Makes you realize she's full of surprises.
It really does. She's more complex than she appears. You see her on screen, the strong, sexy icon, but underneath there's a whole history of pain, resilience, and unexpected passions.
It's like finding out your drill sergeant collects My Little Pony figurines. Totally throws you for a loop. But speaking of loops, let's get back to her career. That shit's a roller coaster ride in itself.
Absolutely. You've got those massive hits like A Few Good Men, Indecent Proposal, Disclosure. She was unstoppable in the early 90s.
But then came those epic fails. The Scarlet Letter, Striptease.
Oof, yeah. Striptease was basically a cinematic dumpster fire.
She got paid a fortune for it, but it was painful to watch.
It's almost like she was intentionally pushing boundaries, challenging perceptions. Like, yeah, I'm the highest paid actress and I'm going to do this cheesy over-the-top stripper movie. What are you going to do about it?
Maybe it's a giant middle finger to all the critics who called her a diva.
Could be. And then you have G.I. Jane, where she shaved her head, went through that insane physical training. She totally committed to that role.
Yeah, but even that one didn't quite hit the mark. It felt like her star power was starting to fade.
Well, the late 90s were a tough time for her, both personally and professionally. She and Bruce split, and she seemed to step back from acting to focus on her kids.
Good for her. Family comes first. But then she comes back with this weird indie flick, Passion of Mind.
A character with multiple personalities, huh? Bold choice.
Props for trying something different, but it was a bit much, even for Demi. Then she follows that up with Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, which, let's be honest, was only watchable because she was rocking a bikini at 40.
Hey, no argument here. She still looked amazing, but even with that comeback attempt, she wasn't exactly landing those big leading roles anymore.
True, but she did have some interesting supporting roles in movies like Bobby, Mr. Brooks, and that critically acclaimed Margin Call.
And don't forget her directorial debut with Five, which even snagged her a Directors Guild nomination.
Right, so she wasn't completely out of the game, just playing it a little differently. More selective, maybe. But let's cut to the chase. What's she been up to lately? Last I heard, she was doing that erotic podcast, Dirty Diana.
Well, that podcast actually spawned a whole Amazon series, and she starred in it. It's definitely a different direction for her, but she's never been afraid to explore her sexuality on screen.
No kidding. Remember, disclosure. She practically invented the term sexual harassment lawsuit with that movie.
And in 2024, she had a major role in Ryan Murphy's feud, Capote versus the Swans, a glamorous period piece, and her performance got rave reviews.
So she's back in the spotlight, huh? Good for her. But the real question is, does she still have that it factor? Can she reclaim her throne as Hollywood royalty?
That remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, Demi Moore is a survivor. She's been through hell and back, both personally and professionally, and she's still standing, still working, still pushing boundaries.
Damn straight. She's like a cockroach after a nuclear apocalypse. You just can't kill her spirit.
And let's not forget, she wrote a memoir, Inside Out, which became a New York Times bestseller. It's a raw, honest look at her life, her struggles, her triumphs, and it reveals a depth and complexity that most people probably wouldn't expect from a Hollywood starlet.
So what's the takeaway from all this? What does Demi Moore's crazy life teach us?
I think it reminds us that fame and fortune don't guarantee happiness or fulfillment, and that even the most glamorous, successful people have their demons, their scars, their hidden passions.
Yeah, and that even someone who's been through as much shit as Demi can still come out on top, reinvent themselves, and find a new path.
Exactly. It's a story of resilience, transformation, and the enduring power of the human spirit.
Damn, that got deep. But you know what? It's true. Demi Moore, she's a goddamn enigma, man. A walking, talking contradiction. A sex symbol, a mother, an activist, a doll collector.
And most importantly, a survivor.
You know, for all the craziness, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I kind of admire her. She's done it her way, on her own terms.
And she's still got more chapters to write. It'll be interesting to see where her story goes next. Like, one minute she's this wild child, next minute she's out there saving kids.
Totally. Like she's battling with these different sides of herself, right? And it even, like, plays out in her career choices. Like, one minute she's taking these insane risks, then boom, she's bombing at the box office.
Yeah, she's not afraid to piss off her fans either.
Striptease, man, that movie was a fucking train wreck.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, she got a shitload of cash for it, but like, why? Why would she do that at the height of your career? Was it like a giant fuck you to Hollywood? Or was she just clueless?
Yeah, it's a head scratcher, that's for sure. Maybe she was trying to ditch that America's sweetheart image.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I can be edgy and hot too, watch this. But who knows, maybe she just wanted to see how far she could push things.
or maybe she just liked getting naked for money.
Hey, who are we to judge, right?
Okay.
But let's not forget G.I. Jane.
Oh,
Talk about a transformation.
she shaved her head for that role.
Totally committed.
Yeah. But even with all that, the movie kind of flopped. It was like her star was fading.
Yeah, the late 90s were rough on her. The split with Bruce was brutal, and she kind of disappeared for a while, focused on being a mom.
Which, good for her, right? Family comes first.
Absolutely.
But then she pops back up with Passion of Mind, which was,
Right.
well,
Weird.
yeah, weird. Playing a chick with, like, multiple personalities.
A little too much.
Yeah, even for Demi. And then, bam, she follows that up with Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle,
Yeah.
which, let's be real, was basically just an excuse to see her in a bikini at 40.
She still looked damn good.
Yeah, she did. But even with that, she wasn't getting those big roles anymore.
True, but she did some cool supporting stuff.
Like what?
Bobby, Mr. Brooks, even that Margin Call movie, that was pretty good. And she directed that 5 movie, didn't she?
Oh, yeah, and got nominated for a Directors Guild Award, too.
Yeah.
So she wasn't out of the game completely. She was just playing it differently.
Exactly.
But enough about the old shit, what she been up to lately. Last I heard, she was doing that Dirty Diana podcast, the erotic one.
Oh, yeah, that turned into an Amazon series.
Really?
And she starred in it. It's different from her old stuff, for sure.
Well, she's never been shy about sex, has she? Nope. Remember Disclosure?
Oh, yeah,
She practically invented the term sexual harassment lawsuit with that movie.
that's true. And in 2024, she had a big part in that Ryan Murphy feud show, the Capote versus the Swans one.
Oh, yeah.
It's super glam, and she got amazing reviews. So, yeah, she's back
Back in the spotlight.
for sure. But the question is, does she still have it? That it factor?
Yeah, can she be Hollywood royalty again?
We'll see. But one thing's for sure, Demi Moore's a survivor. She's been through some serious shit and come out on top.
She's like unkillable, like a cockroach. But seriously, she's tough, and she's not afraid to tell her story, good and bad. Her memoir, Inside Out, that was a bestseller.
Yeah, totally.
It's honest and raw, and it shows a whole other side of her. Like, she's way more complex than people think.
So what have we learned from all this? What's the big takeaway from Demi Moore's crazy life?
I think it shows that fame and fortune don't guarantee happiness. Even the richest, most famous people have problems.
Yeah, and they have secrets too. And that no matter how bad things get, you can come out the other side. You can reinvent yourself, find a new path.
So basically, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly. It's a story of resilience, transformation, the power of the human spirit.
Damn, that got deep. But you know what? It's true. Demi Moore, she's a total enigma. Like, what even is she? A sex symbol, a mom, an activist, a doll collector.
And a survivor.
Yeah. You know, for all the drama, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, you gotta admire her. She's always done things her way, on her own terms.
Totally. And she's still got more to do. It'll be fascinating to see what she does next.
I know, right? Like, who knew the chick who posed naked while pregnant would become a badass fighting for kids?
Right. She's like 2 different people. Hollywood wild child and Mother Teresa.
Totally. It's like those two sides are always talking to each other, shaping your choices.
Exactly. And that's what makes her so fascinating. You can't understand her without both sides.
It's like she's constantly wrestling with herself.
And that makes her career choices so interesting.
Yeah, like striptease. What the hell was that about?
Right. But even in her failures, there's this fuck you attitude. Like, she's defying expectations. She won't play it safe.
I kind of respect that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
she's saying, fuck you, I'm Demi Moore, and I'm going to do whatever I want.
And that's empowering, right? She's writing her own story.
Yeah, she is. And it's not over yet.
Not even close.
She's a total wild card, man.
Mm.
One minute she's this Hollywood badass, the next she's like, Mother Teresa saving kids.
Right. Like, who would have thought the chick who posed nude while pregnant would end up taking down child sex trafficking rings? It's crazy.
She's like 2 different people.
It's those 2 sides of her that make her so damn interesting, though. That push and pull between the wild child and the, protector. You can't really understand Demi Moore without both.
It's like she's constantly at war with herself. And that battle plays out in her career, too. Like, she's always taking risks, even if it means falling flat on her face.
Yeah, Striptease is a prime example.
That movie was a total disaster. But even when she fails, there's this, like, fuck you energy to it.
Oh, totally.
Like, she's saying, I'm Demi Moore, I do what I want.
It's kind of badass, actually. She doesn't play by anyone's rules but her own.
Yeah. And you know what? Her story's not over yet.
Not even close.
Who knows what she'll do next? Maybe she'll keep making crazy movies.
Or maybe she'll, dive even deeper into her activism.
Or maybe she'll finally explain that whole doll collection thing.
Who knows? But whatever she does, it's going to be interesting.
That's the thing with Demi, right?
Yeah.
She's unpredictable.
Totally. And she's unapologetically herself.
So there you have it, folks. Demi Moore.
Wow.
More than just a pretty face. She's a survivor, a fighter, a total enigma.
She's been to hell and back, but she's still standing.
Still kicking ass and still doing things her way.
She's a reminder that life's messy, that it doesn't always go according to plan.
But that's what makes it interesting, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that was a hell of a deep dive. I think I need a drink after all that.
Me too. Cheers to Demi Moore.
Cheers to Demi, the woman who keeps us guessing.
And to all the beautiful contradictions that make life worth living.
Damn right.